Take a breath. Right now, in the time it took to inhale, your lungs filled with billions upon billions of air molecules. Some of those molecules came from the person next to you. Some came from forests on the other side of the world. Some drifted through volcanoes, deserts, oceans, and clouds. And a tiny fraction, believe it or not, came from Julius Caesar's final breath on the Ides of March over 2,000 years ago. It sounds impossible, like a myth or a poetic metaphor, but the math behind diffusion makes it not just plausible, but almost certain. And once you understand how air mixes, you'll never think about breathing the same way again. Nothing in the atmosphere stays put. When Caesar exhaled his last breath, those atoms didn't vanish, they didn't fall to the ground or dissolve into nothing. They spread, slowly at first, drifting into the air around him. Then a little farther, stirring with the breeze. And as years passed, as winds blew, storms churned, and seasons changed, those atoms scattered across continents and oceans until eventually they diffused so thoroughly that they became part of the air everywhere on Earth. Diffusion is the constant dance of molecules bumping, colliding, wandering in every direction. In a room, it's why the smell of coffee fills the air. In the atmosphere, it's why one person's breath given enough time becomes part of everyone's. A single exhale contains an absurd number of molecules, roughly 2 times 10 to the 22nd. That's 20 sextillion. A number so enormous it barely feels real. Now compare that to the number of molecules in Earth's entire atmosphere, about 10 to the 44th power. 100,000 trillion. When you divide one breath by the total atmosphere, you get a fraction that seems microscopic. And it is, but here's the twist. You breathe the same number of molecules with every inhale. So when you multiply that tiny fraction by the enormous count inside your own breath, something magical happens. And you get thousands. Thousands of atoms from Caesar's breath entering your lungs every single time you inhale. This isn't a symbolic idea. It's not poetic exaggeration. It's literally how diffusion works. Think of dropping a single drop of dye into a massive swimming pool. At first, it forms a small cloud of color, but given enough time, it spreads until every part of the pool contains a few dye molecules. The atmosphere is just a far bigger, far more dynamic pool. Winds remix it constantly. Weather stirs it. Temperature changes churn it like a giant blender. Eventually, every molecule becomes part of a vast global mixture. And when you breathe, you're participating in that mixture. You're not inhaling new air that recently appeared, you're inhaling ancient air. Recycled air. Air that has passed through countless lungs across countless generations. Air that has been inside animals, kings, peasants, explorers, emperors, and children. Some molecules were once exhaled by dinosaurs. Some traveled through the smoke of burning forests. Some drifted through ancient cities and long-vanished civilizations. And yes, some came from Caesar's last breath. The atoms inside your body are not truly yours. They're borrowed. Every breath you take pulls in molecules that were once part of someone else's story. Your bloodstream carries atoms that once drifted through meteor trails. Your cells incorporate carbon that was forged in exploding stars. The air you breathe belongs to every living thing that has ever existed. Maybe you inhale 1,000 atoms from Caesar's last breath each time. Maybe it's 5,000. Maybe more. The exact count doesn't matter. What matters is that the number is never zero. Once diffusion runs its course, boundaries between breaths dissolve. Everything becomes part of everything else. Breathing isn't just a biological reflex. It's an exchange, a quiet, invisible handshake with the entire human story. Every inhale is a reminder that you are connected to every person who has ever lived, through the most ordinary and miraculous substance of all, air. The atoms you take in today will one day be breathed by someone thousands of years in the future. Just as you are breathing the atoms of those long gone. Take one more breath now. Somewhere in that swirl of molecules is a tiny fragment of history, an atom that traveled through ancient Rome, drifted across centuries, and has finally found its way to you. Thanks so much for watching. These videos are only made possible with your support. Please like, subscribe, share, and keep coming back to this channel for more videos like this one. Until next time, stay curious.